Hey now, Possum, Pork Possum Speed Shop. I'm gonna talk to you a minute about gassers. What makes them a gasser, what kind of front end I have on my car, the one I like the best, stuff like that. I've got a couple questions about how my steering was set up, so I'm gonna show you my steering on the Daddy Rat car and just talk about gassers. I wish I had a way to like a live stream, and maybe we'll work towards that because I'm very interested in you guys' opinions. I'm not a professional. What I say is my opinion, and that is what it is. I like these cars. I'm a hot rodder, been a hot rodder my whole life. I've always been a car guy. Shoot, in high school, I probably was drawing more cars than I was doing my homework, doing my work. Used to sit and draw cars and look at hot rod magazines, and I've been into all kind of cars, and I don't necessarily think that that's dying, but the type of cars that these young kids are into today just aren't the same as what us older guys are into. I got a 19-year-old boy, and he could care less about this car. But he told me today that I should do a video on a Nissan Skyline, which is a cool car, but it just blew my mind that he even knew what one of those was. There's any number, if you don't believe me, get on Google and ask him, of companies out here that offer kits to make a gasser out of every kind of car imaginable. I think back in the day, the cars was made out of junkyard parts and stuff like that, and there's every kind of front axle known to man. I've got a tube axle on this one. Most of my front end, this kit comes from Jim Myers Racing. I think I've told you all that before. Nicky makes them. Pete and Jake's makes them. Speedway sells them. Everybody's got their fingers in a little bit in it somewhere along the line. Which one's best, I don't know. I don't know enough about them to tell you what I think's best. Some of the spring shackles are on the front. Mine's on the front, some's on the back. People will tell you bump steer in the front, bump steer in the back. Everything out there. My front end has tie rod ends in them. Some of them have hind joints. Again, I don't know enough to know to tell you what's the best, what'll work and what don't work. But that being said, there's a lot more goes into it than just sticking this stuff together. There's a certain degree stuff is going to be. I didn't build this front end. The car come to me like this. And it came from what I consider a reputable building. He's no longer with us. I don't even think that Jim Meyer Racing's still in business. I don't know that. I haven't been able to find them, but I know that Mr. Myers is deceased, and I do know what that stuff cost. I've got the receipts for everything, and if you think that converting a car over to a gasser is cheap, then you better have the stuff laying around your backyard to do it, because the stuff's expensive. This particular front end came with a Vega gearbox. It's only got 3 leaf springs, tube axle. The best I can tell from the receipts, it came with the Willwood disc brakes and the whole, I'm sorry my heater fan just come on. I can't turn that off, so I don't want to get cold. Possum don't like being cold. It came set up with the crossbar and the engine mount set up for a big block Chevrolet. I've seen a lot of cars out there. VW's Hot Rod's got a I think his is Nicky. bunch of them. I got a Greg Porter Night Stalker. I've met him. I went down to his shop. I've had the luxury to go in his shop, and he let me crawl all over that Night Stalker car, taking pictures and stuff like that. His has got a single leaf spring buggy style that goes side to side, and got two before steel tubing for ladder bars back there, and that thing is a hot rod. I think I read somewhere that car run a 530. We're building our car to run 6 seconds. No, it's 5/38 a mile. That's right, 5/38 a mile. We're trying to get in the 6 second bracket in this car. They're all over the board. Most of these cars you see, they're nosed up a little bit. Some of them's jacked up like 4-wheel drive. If you look at the welder up car he's built, it's well, they call that street freak. It's where they jack the back end up and everything instead of radius and the real wheels. I kind of like the radius real wheels and drop down, but I wouldn't turn my nose up to either one of them. They're both cool. A lot of these cars, it's up to your imagination, man. You can build them any way you want to. Mine's got a tube axle under them. A lot of them's got truck axles. Some of them got truck axles. Some of them got Model A axles and stuff like that under them. You can get them any width, any shape you want. I don't know the benefit to any of this. I don't know if tie rods are better than hind joints, or just a regular straight car truck axle is better than a tube axle. I don't know. I guess a lot of it depends on what your plan is for the car. The Daddy Rat car is going to be a street-driven car. I'm going to drive this thing on the road, but it will see some time at the drag strip. So, you know, is it done right, or what? Am I helping it? I don't know. Again, that's why I'd like to talk, but to be able to get talk to you, get feedback. So, by all means, comment. If you got an opinion, you're not going to hurt Possum feelings. You're not going to hurt my feelings about it, because I'm learning as this goes along. What drove me to decide to get a gasser, 55 gasser? 155 is one of my favorite cars. I'm not normal when it comes to I want a hot rod, you know. In the classic sense of a hot rod, it's just like when ride motorcycles. I like Harley Davidsons, and I've had every kind of Harley Davidson you can think of. But my favorite is by far a chopper. A little bit on the freaky side, I guess. I like to be a little bit different, and I like stuff that stands out and hollers, "Look at me!" And if fender well headed, big block, fuel injected 55 gasser don't scream that, then I don't know what does. The steering on my car is basically it's got a drop pitman arm with the steering shaft and drag link that connects the wheels on the bottom side of the hub. I like to move that up some to flatten that steering out a little bit. Maybe that'll help with pump steer, but I don't know that. I've been told that by people that race these cars and drive these cars that I've got a good setup here, and if yours is different than mine, and that don't mean that I think mine's better than yours, or yours is better than mine, or whatever. If it works, then what's wrong with it? You do it your way, and use your imagination and build your car the way you want it built, and at the end of the day, you can say, I did this. And that's just what I think about it. The front end on this car, like I said, is built by Jim Meyer Racing. It's got his badge on the front of it. QF1 shocks. It's got Lilwood disc brakes. I'm almost 100% sure that they didn't come with fancy shocks and disc brakes and all that. I'd not be willing to bet they didn't have any front brakes on them back in the day. But my thoughts on it are is when gassers came around and they started building these cars and started racing these cars, that they used what they could find, what was around, and made these cars, and it was a cheaper way for them to get into this class. And I think back when there was a gasser class that most of them had straight axle front ends. I'm sure that none of them had altered wheelbases or stuff like that. You see the AWP and AFX classes at these drag races, and that's an altered wheelbase or an altered experimental wheelbase cars and stuff like that. They're not even allowed to run in a lot of these gasser classes that they run now, like Southeastern Classics. They have their own little exhibition show class that they let them run in. But I think most of these cars were straight axle, ladder bar setups, and that's where I'm going to try to keep mine. And most of the guys you see building these cars today is they're trying to recreate a car that was run. I think they run them up until like 67, 68 or something like that. They had classes that run these cars, and they're trying to recreate that in a street/strip setup. Now they are people like Southeastern Gassers out there running these cars, and they're not the only ones. There are several of them that's having exhibition races and stuff like that. Now, in my opinion, I certainly don't know. I don't think there's a whole lot of money on the backside of these races. I think most of these guys are doing it to just for the love of the sport and to show what they got and stuff like that. That being said, how cool would it be to go to, I don't know, a cruise in, a gasser cruise in where all these home builders and backyard builders are building their cars their way and in a manner that they can afford, and getting out there driving these cars. Think about a 10-year-old boy in the back seat of his mom's minivan pulled up beside a freaked out gasser and loud, noisy exhaust and smell of the gas, and especially that racing fuel coming off that thing. And if he's got any car guy in him at all, he's going to think that's the coolest thing that ever was. And well, there's just that. Let me bring you in and show you my front end. That's what this video was. I've been meaning to put this video up. Gorney and a couple other people asked me about, I can't remember the words they used, but they want to know what kind of front end I got and if there's any problems with it. The truth is, I don't know if there's any problems with it. It's sitting there, obviously. I haven't run this down the road. I've had several cars that had straight axles under them with disc brakes, and they run and drove fine. But it was all factory stuff. It wasn't nothing weird like this. So I'll bring you in now. Thank Miss Jennifer for filming this for me. I'll bring you in and I'll show you my front end, and then I'll let you get back to your side. So there's drop pitman arm, steering shaft, and drag link, ties the wheels together, and of course I've got a tube axle under this thing. My shackles are on the front. There, it ain't even a nut on that one. Everything's just mocked up. Nothing's tight. Nothing's tight yet. I've still got to go through and adjust and tighten everything up. But that's what I've got. And there's nothing more than a go-kart, is it? There's my little Vega gearbox. It's welded to the bottom down there to get that so there's not as drastic as a drop from the gearbox to that tire. And I think that's in effort to slow the bump steer down. There's the front end. Like I said, this is a Jim Myers front end. There's a bunch of companies out there that make these things, and they're fairly simple. If you can weld and you got a little bit of mechanical knowledge, you can put one of these things together fairly easy without having to worry about messing up your chassis. All right, front end on the daddy rat car. All right, that's the front end on the daddy rat car. We're really not, I'm gonna be tweaking some of this up and tightening it up, but I've got the car up on the ramps. I'm gonna jack the back end up and take the back wheels off of it. I got a couple of studs messed up I'm gonna fix, and be working on stuff like that. I think next I'll probably tighten everything up underneath the car on the chassis. I'm waiting on a master cylinder for it now, with a proportioning valve and a line lock. So in the near future we'll be running brake lines and getting all that tightened up, getting all that ready. I'm trying to get the car ready to send off the paint, so I've still got to build and install a slide tilt front end and all that. So that's what we're working on. Okay, so I told you I was going to tell you what my personal favorite man, I love all these cars. You've got go to some of these gas races and stuff, and you'll see stuff that just blows your mind. Where'd they come up with that idea? You know, and my favorite setup, as far as the gasser, the front frame section on a car, my favorite is by far let's say I can put this. Never known a toad that wouldn't praise his own pond. But my favorite's not this type of setup. My favorite is the guys that got out there and come up with a straight axle out of a Dodge van or old A model or something like that, and dirt leaf brakes out from under the back of their grandma's car and homemade that stuff. To me, that's just the guys that's got that kind of skill set that can go out there and take parts and pieces, genuine junkyard parts, and build these cars. My hat's off to you. I dig those cars a lot. So I'm sure back in the day, if racers had the ability or the stuff was out there to buy stuff like this, kits and stuff like that, maybe some of them would have got them, but the guys that go out there and can take parts and pieces here and there and make different cars, those are my favorite gassers. You see a lot of them. I see a lot of them. A lot of you guys, I watch your channels and stuff like that. And man, your cars just do it for me, and I like that. I like that style. The patina cars that's got the true patina on it. I don't know. Go check out Mike Garrett's Rough and Ready car, or check out the patina cars that's being built online. Chris Power's Ironhead Garage. Go check out his car and watch some of the stuff that these guys have come up with and put together. Those are the kind of cars that I like. Those are the kind of cars you can get out and drive. You don't have to worry about scratching them. You can beat and bang on them. And hey, if they break, you've got something else you can have fun to do. Guys really enjoy being out in the shop working on the cars. Those are the ones that stand out in my mind. Gorney, Big Block Kings. He's got, man, that thing is just cool. You can't make that. That's just something that's taken time to look that way and sound that way. And those cars, when you taking parts and pieces of cars like the Blasphemy car, he's got a Hemi in that Chevrolet, and that, to me, that is, a lot of people probably think that is blasphemy, but that's that's the soul, to me, of gassers. You take what you got, what you like, you put it all in a pot and stir it up together and come out with something cool, and then that's the ones I like. I didn't list all the cars I like. There's a lot of them out there that just, I love them. But my favorites are by far the cars that's built from a bunch of different cars and put together. This kit stuff is cool. It makes it a lot easier, and it makes the parts more available. And the fact that they're making this stuff just goes to show that there's a market for it out there. And I'm glad that stuff's there. But my favorite by far are the homemade gassers that's took parts and pieces from that. Well, I said homemade. There's a lot of shops, there's a lot of reputable shops out there that'll do it for you, but those are by far my favorite. I like the ones that's made from different cars that's put together and blended into something cool. And thanks for stopping by watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Most of my views are coming from people that's not subscribed. Do me a favor and subscribe to the video if you like what you see. If you like the car and you want to see, if you don't like the car and you want to tell me that, that's fine. I want to talk to you about it. Go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video, smash the like button. Hit the bell if you want to see our updates, and look forward to seeing you again and talking to you again. I think I've got everybody's that's requested our shop stickers. I've got them out to you. If you hadn't received them, keep a check on your mailbox. They're on the way. And we appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.